I do my ovals in a counterclockwise direction. And you don't want to work at a very fast pace. It needs to be a natural pace. So not too fast, not too slow.
我的椭圆一般是用顺时针来做练习的，然后非常轻，不需要特别的快速。就是重复的话，这些椭圆只是一个热身运动。
And I am not doing a drill or trying to reinforce muscle memory. I'm trying to get in a peaceful state of mind.
我不是为了就是要训练我的肌肉记忆，或者是要把这些椭圆真的画的是一模一样的大小，只是说让我的头脑沉静下来，进入到这个状态。
After my ovals, I start to do lateral figure 8 shapes on the paper.
在画椭圆以后，我会进入这个八字的练习。
I'm concentrating on my breathing. I'm being calm and thoughtful as I do these strokes.
在现在我会更加关注的是我的呼吸，让我自己真正的轻松下来。在我做这些练习的时候。
One way you can test your lightness of the touch is to pull your paper back and run your finger along the back, and it should feel perfectly smooth, no indents or no pressure felt from the pencil.
你的笔触应该是非常非常轻的。怎么做这个测试呢？就是你把你的纸翻过来，应该是没有任何的笔的痕迹在纸的背面。
I also want to emphasize that I'm not using finger movement. I'm using a motion that uses most of my arm and my shoulder.
我在这里要强调的是，我不是在用我的指动在画这些笔画，我大部分都是用到了我的手臂，在做这些练习。
You want to keep your fingers still, so no motions like this, more smooth, fluid motions, and I will change the camera and show you my arm position.
你要注意的是，我们这边的手指是不动的，更多的是靠手腕来控制这个笔的运作。我现在会调整我的摄像机的角度，让你们看一下我的状态。
So if you look at my arm position, my arm is on the desk and my elbow is off the end of the desk, but it's not awkward or up in the air.
如果你现在看我的坐姿，我的手腕是在桌面上的，但是我的手肘是离开座位的，但是桌面的，但是不是提起来，是非常轻松的在桌子上面。
You can watch my shoulder move. So I have shoulder movement, forearm movement, but the hand or the fingers on the hand are actually still.
你可以看我的肩膀，我的肩膀是不动的，然后是手肘在活动，我的手腕也是不动的，更多的是整个手臂靠手臂的运动来控制这个笔。
You always want to be mindful of having a comfortable posture and incorporating breath into your movements.
你一定要注意的是，要用你的呼吸，注意你的呼吸，整个节奏。
My final warm-up movement with the pencil is an upright figure 8.
我最后的一个练习是一个直立的8的图形。
So when I feel warmed up with the pencil, I will switch to a straight holder and some ink. And I'm going to be using McCaffrey's Penman's Black, my straight holder, and this has a Hunt 21 pen point in it.
在我做最后一个练习的时候，我会从自动笔换到直杆笔，然后我今天用的墨水是 McCaffrey 的黑色，然后今天我的笔尖是 Hunt 21。
The closest modern equivalent to the Hunt 21 nib is the Hunt 22.
Hunt 21是一个古典尖，如果你们想要有现代尖的代替的话，最接近的是 Hunt 22。
So I'm going to repeat those same warm-up strokes with my pointed pen, starting with the oval and then the lateral figure 8 and the upright figure 8.
我会从头开始做一遍热身运动，用直杆笔从椭圆、横向的八字形和竖向的八字形再重新做一遍。
And once again, I want you to check the back of your paper and make sure you're not putting pressure on the pen at this point. Your paper should feel perfectly smooth.
再一次，我希望你们要检查一下你们纸的背面是否有笔触的痕迹，一定要是非常的光滑，因为我们的笔触要非常的轻。
So when I feel warmed up, I'm going to start to slow down and spread apart these strokes.
在我感觉我自己热身的差不多了以后，我会减速我的运笔的速度，然后把这些疤分散开来。
I'm going to create my first pressurized stroke. And when I add pressure, you're going to see a rocking motion between my thumb and my forefinger, like this.
我现在会要做我第一个带有粗笔画的笔画。在做这个动作的时候，你会看到我的两个大拇指和食指会用到力。
The holiday flourishes that I will show you are based on a cartouche that begins with a compound curve like this.
今天的节日限定版的拉花，我会用到以弧线这个线条为主的一个拉花。
复合曲线。
复合曲线。
And sorry, Heather, could you unlock your page? Somebody said it's unclear.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so we're going to talk about this shape, the compound curve.
我们现在要解释一下这个复合曲线的形状。
It is very important that the beginning of the stroke starts with a hairline.
非常重要的是，这个笔画的开始要从一个游丝开始。
The middle of the stroke contains a tapered swell.
在这个笔画的中间，我们需要一个有力的加粗的笔画。
The bottom, as I go around the bottom of the stroke, I transition to a hairline.
在底部，我转换成了游丝。
So the motion that I create starts with no pressure, a little bit of pressure, and then no pressure as I go around this bottom stroke.
所以整个 整个运笔的过程是我从一个游丝开始，加大力度，然后在底部转弯的部分，我就变成了游丝，非常细的游丝。
If you note the implied oval at the top of the stroke and the implied oval at the bottom of the stroke, and the entire shape is based on an elliptical oval.
在这个笔画的部分，上半部分会形成一个椭圆，下半部分也会形成一个椭圆，然后整体会形成一个椭圆，一共是3个椭圆构成的这个笔画。
So let's do it again. We're going to start with no pressure, add a little bit of pressure and release.
所以重新来一遍，就是我们从一个轻轻的游丝开始，然后加一点点的力度，然后再放松。
So in my terminology, this is a compound curve. Some people call this the line of universal beauty, but I call it the compound curve.
我叫它复合曲线，很多人叫 the line of beauty， 就是一个基础笔画。但是在我看来，它是一条复合曲线。
A cartouche is created by combining compound curves.
整个笔画的构成就是用这些复合曲线构成的。
So to simplify this, I'm going to start with my main curve. And then if I create a secondary stroke off to the right, so the same type of stroke, just a little bit lower.
简化一下，就是我是从这个复合曲线开始的，然后在旁边我会再加一个类似的曲线，但是呢，会比原先最开始的笔画稍微低一些。
When you're creating a cartouche, you're creating relationships between the ink and the negative space. And I want you to start to see the space in between the strokes.
在我们画一些组合的笔画的时候，我们需要注意的是负空间，在2个笔画中间的负空间。
So a simple cartouche for me consists of these strokes together. I'll start with my compound curve, my secondary stroke, and then I'll start to add additional strokes that are graceful and complement the main curves.
一般画这些组合，我会从一条复合曲线开始，然后在它的右边也加一条类似的线，再在它的周围加一些轻柔的线条和一些曲线。
The shape still is quite oval in nature.
整个组合是一个比较接近于椭圆的整体。
And I usually put these backward C strokes at the end of the stroke to give it a termination point.
在最后我会加一些反 C 的这些笔画，让它有一个结束的一个感觉。
Our holiday designs are structured by repeating similar designs to this.
我们今天的节日的一些设计会类似，主要就是由这些复合曲线的组合组成的，然后可能要用到一些重复的这些组合来画今天的设计。
But we need to learn how to augment or add accent strokes to these designs.
但是我们要学会加一些有风格的笔画在这些 组合里面。
The first stroke I want to show you is a pressure and release that starts with a hairline, a little bit of pressure and release.
第一个笔画是我们要轻轻的从一个游丝开始，然后再加一点点的重量，在收笔处。
Accent strokes are created with precision.
这些笔画呢是非常要注意的是精密度。
You don't want to just stagger strokes, random strokes. They need to have a lead in or a hairline and then gradual pressure.
我们不想要的是随机的一些点，我们需要非常的小心的从细细的游丝开始，然后加一些力道，然后轻轻的离开纸面。
If I start with a hairline curve and start to create these small strokes on either side of the hairline, I create a wheat flourish.
如果我从一个细细的游丝弧线开始，然后再加这些笔画，在这条游丝的两边，我就形成了一个麦穗形的形状。
If you alternate the strokes, you get a slightly different look to the wheat design.
如果你转换方向，在这条弧线的两侧，你又会得到一个不一样的一个形状。
You could choose to alternate a small leaf stroke. So I'm just drawing a very delicate leaf shape and then alternating that with the wheat.
你也可以转换用叶子代替，然后在这个中间穿插一些小叶子，然后你又会得到一个不一样的花型。
I could choose to draw a little berry and alternate that with the wheat.
我也可以选择用莓果来代替这些叶子，然后你又会得到新的一种花样。
So your accent strokes become jewelry or patterns that you can augment your cartouche with.
所以你这些有特色的这些花型，就变成了你的个人特色和这些基础的复合型曲线笔画结合，就会有你自己的风格。
So some specialized holiday designs would be pine. And if I'm going to create pine, I start with a hairline and then lightly draw these pine needles.
比较有特色的假日氛围的一些拉花，我会从松树开始，然后松叶的话呢，就是一些游丝。
And you can see that I am creating a little branch by alternating the placement of the pine needles.
你会看到我会画一些树枝，然后这些就是用不同的松叶组成的。
I can even choose to bring color. I'm just using a colored pencil and adding a little touch of green over the ink.
你也可以选择在这些叶子上加一些颜色，我选择的是彩色铅笔，在这上面加一些绿色。
This is a Sakura Jelly Roll pen, and I could choose to go over top of this and add a little bit of sparkle.
这是一支樱花牌的带有闪光的高光笔，你也可以选择用它来在你的叶子上加一些不一样的闪闪的效果。
Okay, so what if I want to do some holly? The holly leaf starts with a little bit of a hairline, and then I just create a zigzag pattern on either side of the hairline.
我现在要画的是比较有圣诞节气氛的冬青叶。画它的话呢，要从一个轻轻的游丝开始，然后你可以在两边画 Z 型。
And I could choose to alternate or add some berries in here as well.
我在这儿也可以选择画一些莓果在叶子的两边。
You could even choose to combine some pine.
你也可以选择让它和一些松叶结合。
And if you wanted to add a touch of color, I've got 2 shades of green and 1 shade of pink, and I'll start to tone the leaves.
如果你要给它加一些颜色的话呢，我这里有2种颜色的绿色和一个粉红色，然后我现在会开始给它们上色。
I like to add a touch of pink to one of the edges to the holly, and I like to leave a little bit of white on the berry when I add color.
我在上色的时候，一般就是在叶子的一边和在莓果，我都会在主要着重在图形的一边，然后留下一些空白在这些图案上。
And now I'm just adding a couple of colors of green to add a little bit of color to the holly leaves. And the darkest color of green is usually at the base, and then I gradually fade to a lighter green.
现在我开始加一些绿色，我用浅色的绿色涂满了整个叶子，然后深色的绿色一般我会加在叶子的底部，然后让它慢慢的有一个渐变的效果。
So I'm adding just a little bit of sparkle with the gel pen, so you can see that it starts to create a little bit of shimmer.
现在我用高光笔加在这些莓果和叶子上加一些闪闪，然后你就会看到，已经有一些节日的效果了。
Another helpful stroke for the holiday flourishes is the zipper stroke, which goes over a hairline and then you just zigzag right over top of the hairline.
还有一个图形，也是非常的实用的，就是你用游丝开始，然后在这条线上面来回的画 Z 形。
You could also do, I will show you the little rosebud, which I usually do 2 little leaf strokes, and then an elongated C stroke and a backward C.
我这里也会展示。
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
我在这里也会展示一个玫瑰的花苞，是可以从2片叶子开始，然后一个非常细长的 C， 然后再一个反 C， 它就会变成一个玫瑰的花苞。
Yeah, this shape is an elongated leaf shape. And then this is the backward C, and that creates a little rosebud shape that you may want to include in your holiday design as well.
这个玫瑰的花苞就像刚才说的，它是一个非常细长的叶子，形状组成的，然后再加一个反 C，你也可以把它包含在你的节日的设计里。
So let's combine some accent strokes with a little cartouche.
现在我们将用这些花型和我们的基础笔画做一个结合。
So I'm starting with my compound curve, my secondary curve. I'm just going to put in a few little oval strokes on the left-hand side.
现在我从一个复合曲线开始，然后再是我的第二个复合曲线。接下来呢，我选择就是在这两个周围画一些椭圆形的笔画。
And you'll notice I constantly turn the paper. The paper serves the hand, so put your paper in the most comfortable position to execute the stroke.
你会看到我经常会转动我的纸，我的纸就是为我的手服务的，让我更好的画这些笔画。
Accent strokes start to fill in the design. So I'll just do some leaves here, and I'm just going to go throughout the design and add a few accents.
带有一些风格的设计和装饰呢，我现在就会加一些叶子在上面。
There's very simple rules. Hairlines can cross through hairlines. Hairlines can even cross through the shades. You just don't want shaded strokes crossing through other shaded strokes.
拉花的一些基础规则呢，就是油丝和油丝是可以相交的，然后油丝和粗笔画也是可以相交，但是两个粗笔画是不能相交的。
So I'm just continuing to turn the paper, and I'm adding a few more little wheat strokes to this design.
然后我会经常继续的转动我的纸，然后加一些麦穗的花型在我的设计里面。
Every stroke that I do should add to the design. You don't just want to put strokes in to fill it out. You want it to have a place of importance in the design.
每一个笔画我加进去，不是只是为了填充完成这个设计，你一定要有一个整体的设计，让他们每一个笔画都发挥它自己的作用。
It's always hard to know when to stop, but eventually your design will be finished.
非常难的一点是什么时候停止这些装饰，但是呢，你会知道什么时候可以停了。
Okay, so I'm just going to add a touch of color here. So a little bit of green, and you'll see the overall effect of the accent strokes with the cartouche.
现在我会加一些绿色在这些叶子上面，让它更有一些节日的气氛。
And you can even take a little bit of your colored pencil and add a touch of color in there as well.
你也可以选择在用你的彩色铅笔在两个复合曲线中间加一些颜色。
And I'm adding a little bit of sparkle with the gel pen.
我现在用珠光笔加一些闪闪的效果在这些笔画中间。
Okay, and I'm going to go on and show you a little project, but I do see a question about positioning of my nibs, so I'll explain that a little bit.
我会接下来我会展示一个小小的一个设计，但是呢，在这个之前，我看到了一个问题，我会解释一下我的笔尖的位置方向。
I use a straight holder, and my tines land evenly on the paper, but I have a slight tilt to my pen. When you're building up shade, both tines hit the paper evenly, but the eye of my nib is facing slightly to the right or slightly to the left, depending on what stroke I'm doing.
我用的是一个直杆笔，在画这个笔画的时候呢，两个笔尖应该是同时接触到纸面的，但是在 做这些笔画的变化的时候，你会看到我的笔尖有可能是有时候是往左倾斜，有时候是会往右稍微倾斜一些，但是在画整体的大部分时间都是两个笔尖是平行的在这个笔纸上的。
And the use of a straight holder allows for more slender shades than what you get with an oblique holder, but I do not put as much pressure on the nib as I would with an oblique holder.
Olivia 在做这个直杆笔的时候呢，我会直杆笔的 Sorry, can you repeat that again?
You want me? I don't have any idea what I just said. I think I said that with a straight holder, I don't put as much pressure as I do if I use an oblique holder. You get a lot more slender shaded strokes with a straight holder.
用直杆笔的话，我不会像用斜杆笔，放这么多的力气在这些笔画上，然后你会得到的是比较细长的形状。
So now if you look at this star, you can see the cartouche, the holly, and the pine in the star design.
如果你看这个心形的设计的话呢，你会看到复合曲线的结合和冬青叶，还有松叶，有这些基础的设计组成的这颗心形。
And every time you do a design, even if you use the same cookie cutter, you're going to get a different design. Now, this was done with a snowflake, and this was done with a star cookie cutter.
即使你每次用一样形状的饼干模型，你也会每次得到不一样的一些设计。这些我都是用星星的饼干模型来设计的。刚才还有一个是用雪花的饼干模型。
I'm going to use bleed-proof white, and I have a rinse jar or some rinse water and my working jar of bleed-proof white.
我用的是马丁博士的白色颜料，我会有一个比较洗笔用的一个比较稀一些的白色和原本的白色。
And Heather, we have a question asking what kind of cardstock paper are you using?
So this cardstock is Michael's Recollection cardstock, but any pastel paper will work as well. You just need a smooth colored paper.
有提问的是 Heather 用的是什么样的纸？Heather 说她用的是sorry what brand anyway 是一个卡纸，但是呢，如果是用那个粉笔用的一些 pastel 的一些卡纸也都是可以的，你只要保证它的表面是非常的平滑就可以。
And I'm just going to use the cookie cutter and a chalk outline, but you can use pencil to transfer a design onto your paper.
我现在是用一个饼干的模型和一个粉笔把这个形状画出来，你也可以用铅笔就把简单的轮廓勾勒出来就可以了。
And the festive flourishes are probably the easiest designs to begin with because we are constrained within a shape.
假日主题的拉花呢，应该是最简单的一个设计，适合新手，因为我们受限于这个整体形状的限制，然后我们在这个基础上进行一些拉花练习。
I'm just getting a better line drawing on my paper because my first one was a bit messy.
我现在要画一个更好的一个心情，因为一开始那个有一些乱。
I'm just going to draw a small circle in the center.
我就画一个小小的圆形在这个中间。
Off to the side, I have another piece of paper so I can test my bleed-proof white. And I also have a potato in case I need to dip my pen in it to get the bleed-proof white to work.
我在另外一边呢会放一张同样的纸，用来测试我的白色颜料是不是适合拉花。我在旁边还会放一个土豆，来帮助我更好的用这个白色的颜料，来拉花。
I'm adding a couple drops of distilled water to the top only of the bleed-proof white.
我现在加了几滴自来水，在这个马丁博士白色的上层表面，只是表面。
And you're just going to mix a little bit of the distilled water into the thick part of the bleed-proof white and then brush it onto the back of your pen point.
你现在只是要就是用这个自来水和浓的那个白色颜料融合，然后在用刷子刷在你的笔尖上。
I use the rinse water to add a little bit more water, and the consistency that you want of your bleed-proof white is heavy cream, and you should be able to shake off a drop at the end of your pen point.
然后我会用左边这一罐一般用来洗笔用的水，在这个笔尖上加一些湿度。
And I'm taking some test strokes to make sure I can get the white flowing from the pen.
颜料的流动性呢，你需要是一个相当于一个厚奶油的程度，然后你的颜料是不应该随便就可以甩下去，甩掉，从你的笔尖上甩下去的。现在我要在这个红纸上做一些测试。
So now in the arms of the cartouche, or sorry, the arms of the star, I'm going to repeat a cartouche design.
现在我要在5个五角星的角周围，重复我的复合曲线的组合。
And I'm just making this cartouche a comfortable size.
我现在就是用复合这个拉花的组合，在这个圆圈的周围画出一个适当的大小。
And I'm repeating the same elements in each of the arms.
然后我在这个周边就是重复这个设计。
But even though we repeat the same elements, your design will be organic.
即使我们现在是在重复这个花型，但是你的设计，会是非常的独特的。
Okay, so I've got 5 of these, and you can see they're all different sizes, but that's okay. The design will work.
你会看到我现在有5个花瓣，但是没有关系，这个设计会成功的。
I'm now going to expand the cartouche. So I'm going to create another one out of each arm. So the same idea, you're going to cut right through, and that design will expand. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Great.
我现在会在这个基础上做一些延伸，加一些这些复合曲线的组合。
And I'm just going to go all the way around the design with a similar idea.
我现在会在这个五角星的每一个角，重复这个设计。
The design element I'm using is repetition.
这个设计的主要的特色就是重复这些笔画。
Okay, so now I have similar elements all the way through the design, but I also have large gaps.
现在我在这个五角星的主体部分都是用了重复的形状，但是呢，在这个中间你会看到非常大的空隙。
In the gaps, I'm adding a holly leaf.
在这个空隙中间，我加了一些冬青叶。
And I'm constantly rotating the paper so my hand is in the most comfortable position for the stroke.
我在不停的转动我的纸，让我的手在画这些笔画的时候是舒适的。
I'm now going to put in those little backward C strokes to give this a sense of connectedness.
在这个笔画的末端，我用一个反 C 的效果，让它们有一个连接的一个效果。
If you practice these designs on dark paper with white ink, you'll start to train your eye quickly to see the negative spaces.
如果你在黑色的卡纸上面练习这些，用白色的纸练习这些拉花的设计的话，你的眼睛会更快速的注意到负空间。
The next design element I'm repeating is some pines. So these little arms I put on either side of the cartouche, I'm coming in and creating pine strokes.
下一个设计的要素呢，是我在这个主要的笔画两边加一些松叶。
Every time you do this design, even if you use the same cookie cutter, you're going to come up with a different combination of ideas.
即使你每次用一样形状的饼干模具，你每次都会有不同的想法，然后创造出不一样的设计。
And the secret to these designs is not overpowering them too much, but you need to continue to fill in the gaps.
重点是我们不希望让它的整个图形非常的满，但是呢，我们也要确保这些空隙是有花纹的。
So I decided to add a second holly leaf to the first one.
所以现在呢，我决定要在这个空隙中间加入第二片冬青叶。
And you'll watch the design begin to fill in. And I think I'll add even a third one going in the opposite direction.
然后你会看到这个设计慢慢的被填满。现在我要加入第三片冬青叶。
These designs are organic, but they present an idea of being very complex.
这些设计呢非常的原始，但是呢让人看起来又非常的复杂。
I'm now doing that pressure and release stroke in the center of the main cartouche of each of these arms.
我现在在两个复合曲线中间加入我们刚才练习到的，压下去，然后放开的这个笔画。
And when you get it to this stage where you're sort of seeing an even balance of the lights and the darks, then it gets trickier. So I think I'll also put just the tiniest little stroke in here in this upper cartouche as well.
然后你会看到这个整个粗笔画和细笔画的结合，它的平衡感。然后我们现在呢，我决定在这个复合曲线中间再加一些小细节。
I'm going to add those little backward C's drawn toward that center circle that I started out with.
然后我现在再加一些反 C 在这个星星最开始中心部位。
And it's almost done. I think I could maybe do another couple of strokes. And like I said earlier, it's always hard to stop.
然后现在呢，我会加一些小小的一些小细节，来进一步的填充这个图形。但是就像我刚才说的，就是很难断定就是什么时候我们该停手了。
And I'm just going to finish it off with some wheat strokes.
我将用一些小小的麦穗的形状来结束这个设计。
And I want to encourage you to do a flourish a day, at least for a few weeks, until they become very familiar to you.
我现在会要非常鼓励大家，就是每天做一个小小的拉花练习。在几周以后，直到你的手和你自己对这个拉花的练习和这个运动非常的熟悉，形成肌肉记忆。
Offhand flourishing is a game changer for your pointed pen.
这个被动的拉花呢，会对你的英文书法起到非常大的作用。
You will actually learn skills more quickly than you will when you're practicing a script, because there's a little bit more freedom in these strokes. It's a little bit more forgiving.
你在做这个练习的时候呢，在做被动拉花练习的时候，其实更能让你的技术得到提升，因为它比起对照古本或者是一个字体进行练习，因为它更加的自由。
And I should have warned you that it is, even though we're repeating the same elements, it's impossible to follow me stroke by stroke. Your design is going to require different things of you than it does of me.
但是我也要提示你们，就是即使我们在做同样笔画的重复的练习，但是也是需要有一个不同的观点来看它。
So you will have different negative spaces than I have.
你也会有不同的跟我一样，跟我的设计有不同的负空间。
Now this is a kneaded eraser, and this is dangerous because this is not quite dry, but I'm just going to very carefully go in and start to erase that chalk line.
这是一个美术橡皮，现在我现在这个动作非常的危险，因为我的墨水还没有完全的干，我现在要轻轻的在这个周围把我的铅笔印擦掉。
But if you're working at home, make sure it's dry, even let it dry overnight, because you don't want to smudge your bleed-proof white.
如果你是在家里面画的话呢，请一定要确保你的墨水是完全干的情况下，你才能把这个铅笔印擦掉。我们不希望这个橡皮把你的设计擦花了。
All right, so I'm just continuing to go around here and erasing what I can without smudging of that chalk line.
我现在要继续在这个纸转动，然后把一些我可以擦掉，不毁掉这个设计的前提下的一些铅笔印擦掉。
And you can see the design come to life. You don't want to rub over top of your bleed-proof white, so I'm trying not to touch it.
你会慢慢看到你的设计活起来了。当然我们也不希望就是用那个美术橡皮在这个图案上来回的擦，不然就会擦糊了。
Okay, so I am going to add just a little bit of sparkle. I've got some gem tack glue, which is a permanent and a flexible glue.
现在我要加一些闪闪的效果，我这边有的是一个胶水。
And I've just dispensed some into a little pot here.
然后我挤了一些在一个小罐子里。
And I usually use a toothpick. I can find it. There it is. Toothpick. All right, so I'm gonna get a toothpick.
然后我会拿一根牙签。
And I'm going to use Swarovski crystals. So this is Austrian crystal.
我会用到的是施华洛世奇的水晶，这个是奥地利的水晶。
All right, so they're over here. You can see them. And this is called Aurora Borealis. And that just means it is a very sparkly and a shiny crystal.
这个水晶的名字叫欧若拉，就是这个型号，就它就是非常的闪。
And I'm going to put it on the end of each of the arms of the star and the center.
我现在会沾一些胶水在这个五角星的五个角和这个中心的部位。
And I'm going to use, if I can find a bead nabber. So a bead nabber is just a Q-tip that's been coated with beeswax, and it means you can pick up that crystal and just put it right into the glue, and it's easy to hold the crystal.
我现在用的是一个 beeswax，它就是简单来说，它就是一个棉签，但是呢，在这个棉签的部位，棉花的部位呢，会有一些蜂蜜，这样子更好的可以取到这些水晶。
I'm just adding a little bit of the gel pen to the pine as well to give it additional sparkle.
现在我用这个樱花的闪闪笔呢，在这个图案上再加一些细闪的效果。
And now look at the sparkle. And when it dries completely, I can go in and clean up that chalk line a little bit, but that's how simple it is to create a holiday flourish if you use something like a cookie cutter. And like I showed you earlier, every design is just a little bit different depending on what elements that you put together.
现在的话呢，我就是你们可以看到我的一些细闪的效果，即使我用了非常简单的设计，你们也可以看到我的这些心形都是非常好看的。
And sometimes I combine the cookie cutter and use text or lettering around it.
你有时看到我的这些设计呢，会有一些字在这个周围。
And you can use those flourishes to create just about anything. So that was a little deer that I worked on.
你可以用这些拉花设计呢来创造不同的设计。你看到我这边会有一些小鹿的设计。
But the same principles apply. You look for the cartouche and you just start to augment. Now this one is more advanced, but the principles are the same.
你会看到这些复合曲线的组合其实都是非常的基础的，就是用了我们刚才的一些设计的原理。当然这个小鹿会比较的再升级一些，但是你看这些主笔画都是一些非常基础的设计笔画。
And if you use a really big cookie cutter, you can get a really big snowflake.
如果你有一个非常大的饼干模型呢，你也可以画出一个非常大的雪花。
So I think I can take questions now. So Olivia, I don't know if you have questions or if anybody wants to ask me questions, but let's see if there are any.
我现在可以开放提一些问题。
So far, I guess people are busy flourishing.
Good, good.
Yeah. If anyone have questions, please feel free, put in the chat or mute yourself. Sorry, unmute yourself.
And if we don't have questions, I can show you a couple more things as far as accent strokes or anything like that, or I can review anything because I know I had to go fast.
Heather, I have a question. Are you using the shoulder and the arm to do these, or is it with hand movement and fingers?
So I use the shoulder movement for all of the larger movements, and the smaller the movement, the smaller it is in my hand. So accent strokes, definitely I'm using these two fingers, never the wrist. I don't have any wrist movement. I know a lot of people write with wrist movement. Oh, do you need that train? I guess are you going to translate that?
No, all good, all good. 有问题问的是 Heather 在这个整个画图的过程中，用到的是肩膀是臂动呢，还是指腕动？然后 Heather 在这边解释，他在画形状比较大的拉花的时候，用的是臂动，但是呢，这些小的这些拉花要加一些力气的一些粗笔画的时候，会用到指腕动。
But the larger the movement, the larger you need to have in your arm as well. So if you are going to do a larger flourish, you can't do that with this type of motion at all. And in fact, you'd never want to be using that. Even in my writing, I try and control that. It's only when I add the shades that I have that little bit of rocking.
你要画更大的一些设计的呢，那当然你的臂动的范围也会更大。当然就是我会试图控制我的指腕动，手指的活动，大部分都是臂动。
So are there any other questions?
Thank you.
还有其他问题吗？
We have one more. How to identify which part to start with is the best on non-identical shape, just in case overdoing it.
How to start a cartouche? Is that what the question was, or how to start a design?
Iris, like on an animal.
Oh, okay. So let me pull the deer. Okay, so the deer.
我们有一个问题 ，Sorry.
Go ahead.
我们有一个问题是问，就是如果要设计一个动物相关的一个拉花的话，那从哪一个部分开始？
So your rule of thumb is you always start with the largest areas first.
你的基础的规则呢，就是你从大的部位开始。
So on a deer, I will do some of these delicate strokes on the face and get that put into the design. And then I usually start with the cartouches in the body.
对这个小鹿来说呢，我会从它的脸，基本上是它的脸画一些比较精细的花纹，然后再是它的鹿角，然后在它的身体呢，我就会用一些比较基础的复合曲线组合来画。
And I did this one today with my students, and I put a large cartouche in the body, sorry, a design in the body, and then my cartouches went around those main elements. So large parts are always first.
我今天画的这个小鹿呢，我在它的身体部分放了一些设计，但是它的主体的身体部分，我还是用这些基础的笔画来填充。主要重点就是从大图案的大范围开始。
Okay. So are there any other questions?
I didn't see any comment.
All right, well then if we still have a couple minutes, I'm okay to do a little bit more flourishing. What do you think?
Yes, please.
All right, so let's do a little floral spray here. So
现在我们画一个小小的花。
if I create a little circle and put
如果
the
我
go ahead.
sorry，
No, go ahead.
如
Go
果我
ahead.
现在画一个小小的圆形，然后画一个花瓣在这个边上。
And I'm just putting these little heart-shaped petals around the circle.
然后我现在加一些花瓣在这个圆的周围。
And if you want to create the idea of a little bouquet or a cluster of flowers, the next flower just starts a little bit too close to the first one.
如果你想要画一个花束，下一朵花开始的地方呢，要离原来的最原始的这朵花要稍微近一些。
So I'm putting in these little shading details at the base of each petal.
我现在在这个花心的周围加一些带有阴影的效果的一些细节。
And if you wanted to create this little bouquet on the corner of an envelope, it's very simple to create a corner.
如果你要在一些信封的角落画一些这个花束也是非常简单的。
Okay, so I've got 3 little flowers, and now I'm going to add 3 of these, not 3, but a few of these leaf shapes around the flowers.
我现在画了3朵花，现在呢，我要在这个花的周围加一些叶子的图案。
So I've got this established, and now I'm going to put a cartouche coming out from this bouquet.
我现在呢要在这个花的周围加一些我们刚才练习到的基础的复合曲线组合。
So I'm adding my little oval strokes on the left-hand side. I'm going to turn the paper and add a series of ovals down the right-hand side.
我现在呢加了一些椭圆的图形在这个左边，然后转动我的纸，在它的右侧再加一些椭圆的图形。
So now I've got a little cartouche established. I'm going to turn it and draw a cartouche along the top.
现在呢，我转动我的纸，在这个花的上部也加一些图形。
You can see I put a little curl on the end of that stroke. So all of your strokes don't have to be the same. You can have a little bit of a playful approach with these.
你会看到我加的都是一些类似的图形，但是也不是需要完全的一致。你可以就是尝试不同的形状。
And I can now start to build in some accents. So if I want to start to carry color through the design, I can maybe bring those rosebuds.
现在我会加一些装饰的设计。 如果我想要考虑到颜色的话呢，我可以在这个底部加一些玫瑰花苞。
So I'm adding it along the top as well as around the bottom, but I don't have to repeat everything identically around this design.
现在我在这个设计的底部和这个上面呢，都加了一些玫瑰花苞的设计，但是我不需要画到这两个设计是一模一样的。
Now, color carries visual weight. So I know that as I add these rosebuds, I'm going to have the opportunity to add color there as well.
颜色呢会给我们的视觉带来不同的重量。所以我在画这些花苞的时候，我就会知道说，在这个部位，就会有一些我可以加一些颜色。
So now I have the line of my corner established. It's not very festive, but if I come in here with some pine, it will get a little bit more of a festive feel to it.
我现在呢，虽然画了这些玫瑰花，但是还缺少一些圣诞节节日的气氛，所以呢，我在这边又加了一些松叶，这样子就会增加一些圣诞节的氛围。
So I'm adding little bits of pine throughout the design.
我在这个周围又加了一些松叶，在这个设计的周围。
And like I said earlier with the star flourish, I really encourage you to do a flourish a day. Even if you only have 15 or 20 minutes to flourish, you are rapidly going to build skills.
就如同我在刚刚设计五角星的时候，我非常鼓励和建议大家每天即使是花15到20分钟的时间来画一个小小的拉花，设计，你的技能也可以非常快速的提升。
And now I'm just repeating some of these wheat strokes throughout the design.
我现在呢，在这个花束的周围加一些麦穗的小设计。
And the corner is really starting to shape up.
现在这个角落呢，开始慢慢的，有了一定的形状。
A flourish is very playful, and the more you practice, you will start to develop a thinking process that is dedicated to flourishing.
拉花是一个非常有乐趣的事情。你练习的越多呢，你就会形成一个这个思考的模式，然后进步的更快。
Okay, I'm going to show you how I color this. I'm going to grab another couple of colored pencils here.
现在呢，我要在这个设计上面呢加入一些颜色，用彩色铅笔。
And Heather, could you talk more about your pen, the color pencil?
These?
Yes.
These are Faber-Castell polychromos, and they're oil-based colored pencils.
刚才有问题问 Heather 用的是什么彩色铅笔 ？Heather 用的是辉珀家的油性彩色铅笔。
All right, so I am going to start with a green, I think a green center, and this color is May green. And we're going to color those centers with the May green.
现在我要用绿色来给这个花心做一个填充。这里颜色我用到的是 May green， 5月绿色。
And I'm going to add that May green to the pine as well.
我现在要在这些松叶上面加一些绿色。
I'm also going to a stroke, if I start at the base of the pine and pull forward, I'm going to get a little bit of a darker tone on the end of the pine.
然后我在这个周围又会加一些笔画，从外向内延伸，加一些力度。
Okay, so I've got the pine and the I'm going to do a little bit of this deep pink color around the base of each of these petals.
我现在要在花的中心部位用到深一些的粉色。
And this color is middle purple pink.
Middle purple pink.
Middle purple.
这个
same in Chinese.
It's a bit hard. 这个颜色是有点带紫色的粉色。
Okay, and I'm also putting it at that middle purple pink at the base of the rose.
我用这个颜色呢，也会画在花苞的底部。
And then this color is light purple pink.
然后现在这个粉色呢，是一个浅的粉紫色。
And now I'm blending it. I'm also going to use that light pink at the end of all of those leaves.
我现在会在这些叶子的尖部，也加上一些粉色。
And I did see the question Aries wrote about going over the rosebud, so I will do that. And I see Callow's question about book recommendation, and I will talk about that as well before we end.
Yeah, and we
在
have.
这次 ，sorry, should I?
Yeah, you go
在
ahead.
我结束之前，我也看到了有其他的问题，关于书的介绍和希望可以再演示一下这个玫瑰花苞。我在这次讲座结束前都会一一回答。
Now I'm using the dark green at the base, and this color is called leaf green, and Polychromos pencils blend really beautifully. They're just a lovely pencil to work with.
我现在用的是一个leaf green，就是叶绿色，在这个叶子的底部。然后惠博家的彩色铅笔呢，会非常好的融合，把所有的颜色都融合起来。
Okay, I'm going to take this lighter pink, which is that light purple pink, and I'm going to blend it almost to the end of each petal.
我现在会用浅的粉紫色，在这个花的周围做一些延伸。
And the final color in the flower is cream, and I'm going to use that to blend to the end of the petal, and you get a really soft Victorian effect.
我现在最后用到的一个颜色，它的色号是 cream，奶油色，然后再加在这个花的四周，然后你就会得到一个非常的柔和的带有维多利亚风格的花。
Now I'm going over the pine with that sparkle again.
我现在用樱花的闪光笔，在这个松叶和这个花的花心周围再加一些珠光。
And I'm going to show you a shadow stroke. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a gold metallic. This is Schminke metallic gold, but any gold watercolor will work.
我现在会要再加一些细节。我这里用到的是史明克的金属色，一个金色，但是呢，你用其他的金色也都是可以的。
And just like the bleed-proof white, you mix it up to the consistency of heavy cream, and you're going to brush it onto the back of your pen point.
我在这里面会加一些水，然后呢，让它的质地达到一个像 厚奶油一样的质地，然后我会用笔刷在这个刷在笔尖上。
And a shadow stroke goes in between your main strokes and just adds another little touch of sparkle.
这个阴影的笔画呢，我会加在这个复合曲线和各个笔画的中间。
You can also add some pressure and release strokes in the gold.
你也可以在这个周围加一些金色的，刚才我们学习到的，轻轻的落下，释放这个笔，这个
And then, sorry, go ahead.
这个笔画。
And then just like that, I did miss a leaf though. You've got a little corner flourish that could go on a holiday envelope or a place card or a name card. And they don't take much time.
就是一个这个简单的设计，你可以就是非常轻松的画在你想要的信封的一个角落，就是一个非常有圣诞氛围感的设计。
And for Aries' question, that rosebud starts with an eyelash shape.
玫瑰花苞呢，就是从一个非常轻轻的像睫毛一样的游丝开始的。
And this elongated, narrow leaf shape. So it's almost like you're making a really skinny leaf.
然后会是一个非常细长的叶子的形状，就类似于你画一个非常窄的细长的叶子。
And then a backward C stroke, and I will do a couple little leaves on either side. And that is my rose stroke. And you don't want them at sharp, harsh angles. You want them gracefully draping around your design.
然后在刚才的小细长的叶子，我们会加一个反 C， 然后就会形成一个花苞。在这个花苞的两边，我会加一些细长的叶子。我不希望是一个非常大的叶子，我要的效果是一个这些叶子和这些花是非常轻轻的坠落的感觉。
Now the books, to answer Callow's question, there really isn't a book. My instructor, the one who put me on the path for cartouches was Michael Sull.
Carlo 问到的是有什么书可以推荐？在这个圣诞设计方面，其实没有特别的书推荐。引领我走入拉花这个领域的是 Michael Sull。
And you referenced this, but I agree with you. There's not a lot of it in this book, but the other book that I really recommend is the Ames Compendium of Practical and Ornamental Penmanship.
另外一本我非常推荐的是这个古本 Ames Compendium.
And it's similar. It doesn't have a lot of the cartouche work in my style, but it has a lot of ideas for repetitive design, for accent strokes, and very detailed flourishes.
在这本书里面呢，可能没有很多像我风格的一些设计，但是呢，它也有非常多的像我们刚才学到的，就是一些重复的一些基础笔画。然后把它组合起来。
And there's lots of florals in it.
然后有非常多的花的设计。
And I do have a YouTube channel. I think the YouTube channel is Heather Victoria Held, and I do a Christmas flourish. There's several Christmas flourishes on there that maybe that would be helpful. And as far as Christmas ideas, I recommend this book, Old Fashioned Christmas Illustrations.
我在 YouTube 上面呢也有一个频道，在那个上面我也分享了非常多的圣诞拉花的视频，可以供大家参考。如果是圣诞设计的一些 书的推荐呢，我就推荐这本Old Fashioned Illustration.
And there's like little holly leaves. There's ideas and ribbons and ways of, combining simple elements that you may find really inspiring. There's a little holly spray. So lots of ideas in this book. Little snowflake.
在这本书里面呢，你会看到非常多的像冬青叶的设计和一些丝带和一些圣诞元素的组合，都是非常的具有启发性的。
So I hope you found this demonstration helpful. Are there any other questions?
我希望今天的分享，让你们觉得非常的有收获。
Yes, we have several questions here on our Chinese platform. One of them is, could you share how to choose the color? Like what kind of color goes well with each other?
So I always choose my favorite, and the bottom line is green will always go with everything, so that you know that you can always put green with something because nature is filled with green, and it will go with absolutely any other color that you pull.
在 CC Talk 上面呢，有人提问到说，Heather 平时是如何选择颜色的？什么样的颜色会更适合搭配在一起？Heather 这边回答的是呢，他总是选择自己喜欢的颜色，但是绿色是永远不会出错的，因为这是大自然的颜色，它可以跟任何颜色做搭配。
The other secret is if you have a color wheel, anything beside each other on a color wheel will work.
另外一个秘诀呢，就是如果你有一个彩色的颜色盘，你可以看到这个上面的颜色，任何相邻的颜色都是可以作为搭配的。
So hopefully that helps a little bit.
希望对你有帮助。
And another question is how to flourish with broad edge scripts, like how to apply your style of flourishing on the broad edge.
So the answer is look in the Ames compendium to begin with, but it goes with any Gothic or black letter. It works with italic. It just doesn't work with chunky letters like Neuland or Lombardics. You need something a little bit more slender than a chunky letter, but Ames does a lot of it.
刚才有问题问到怎么把拉花和平肩字体作为结合，他在这边的回答呢是拉花可以和任何的大部分的平肩结合，但是和那些伦巴第体啊那些的可能就不太适合。推荐你可以参考一下这本书里面的一些组合。
I do have another book. I'll just try and grab it real quick.
他这边还有另外一本书推荐。
So the Tompkins and Milnes ornamental penmanship. And if you look at this script or this text, the flourishes work together. There's ways of intertwining ovals with sort of angular broad edge hands. And hopefully that helps a little bit.
在这本书里面呢，就会有一些拉花椭圆形的一些形状的拉花和一些有轮角的平肩字体作为结合，你也可以参考。
And the universal Penman does it as well. These are different styles of flourishes, but you can see how the soft flourishes work against a hard line. This is called visual tension and letting these things compete. The flourish can compete with black letters.
在 Universal Penman 里面呢，也会有类似的结合，然后你会看到这些当然这个拉花和我们的拉花又不太一样，但是你会看到一个平肩字体和一个拉花这个椭圆形字体的一个结合。
Here as well. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you for that. And we have one more question about how to apply watercolor on your nib, because he finds it difficult to let ink flow.
Yes, so watercolor on the nib, and I work from dry pigment. So this is Payne's Gray, and I'll just get that on my nib now. So start from dry. It's harder if you work from fresh out of the tube.
这里有一个问题是 Heather 平时是怎么用到水彩颜料的？这边他展示的是他平时会用的颜料盘，都是一些比较干的颜料，然后他会直接用笔刷，从这些干的比较浓稠的颜料蘸在笔尖上面。
And essentially, you're trying to make the watercolor the consistency of ink.
这个原则呢，就是说，想让我们的水彩的这个流动性和我们平时用到的墨水的流动性是差不多的。
So I put it onto the back of the pen point, and you always want to see if you can shake off a drop.
然后我会用笔刷，
Go
我
ahead.
会用笔刷在笔尖上面，涂在笔尖上面，然后你会轻轻的甩一甩，看会不会甩1-2滴的颜料下去。
And if you can learn to get watercolor the correct consistency, then you're never limited to an ink color. The whole world of color opens up to you.
如果你可以学会用水彩颜料，调到它适当的质地，那么你会打开一个新世界，因为墨水不再限制你的设计。
Okay, did that help?
这个回答了你的问题吗？
Yeah, thank you so much, Heather.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that's all of our questions for today.
Wonderful.
Let me go. So anyone would like to turn on your camera and show us your flourish as you did today?
I would love to see it.
国内的同学你可以发在微信里，然后我现在可以给 Heather 老师看。Oh,
Wow.
Paint you.
Beautiful. Look at the red. Oh, gorgeous. Well
Yeah,
done.
would you like to spotlight all the different design?
Oh,
Thank you so much.
beautiful.
I really enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. Keep flourishing. Those are gorgeous flourishes.
Thank you.
Oh, look at the red. Just beautiful, everybody. Beautiful work. Wow. Well done. Look at the flowers. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well done. Oh, beautiful in blue. Every time you do the flourish on a different color paper, it gives you more and more inspiration. Beautiful.
每次
Lovely.
你在这些设计上面做不同的练习呢，它每次都会给你不同的启发。
Yeah. Okay. So, Heather, would you like to add anything before we call it a day?
I just want to tell everybody to keep flourishing and to feel free to email me and show me what you're doing. You can contact me through email. I put that in the little handout, and I would love to see what you're up to. But take the opportunity to use the festive season to really flourish every day, and your skills will just ignite.
我要借这个机会呢，就是鼓励所有的人呢，继续练习拉花，然后利用这次的圣诞节这个机会，每天练习。我也非常欢迎你们通过 email 来跟我联系，我非常愿意看到你们的一些设计和一些练习。
Yeah, thank you so much, Heather. We had a great time.
You're
I hope-
welcome.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoy as much as I do. And we hope everyone have a wonderful holiday season, and let's happy flourishing.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Heather.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Heather.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlo. I saw your message.
I'm learning a lot of Mandarin as well.
It's a bit hard sometimes, like I just want to reply in English. It's hard to translate when I hear something.
You did a good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time, Heather. It's getting very late.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
night.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.